it started. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And we've been doing this for 16 years, helping people to understand mortgages, how to read an amortization schedule, how to understand interest cancellation, how to know that you've been paying 75% more interest than you need to pay and why you don't have to. And what is the real cause to long-term debt? And everyone, if you are, and anybody who comes in to the P.I.L.L Method Club to do a drive-by, like a hit and run, come in and put something in the chat to sell something, and we're gonna remove it. Okay, so please don't do that today. Go ahead and start sharing the room, folks, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I see some people in here. Today. All right. So how many of you think about this, have ever thought about this, that 90% of the people you know, 90% of the people you know will never, ever pay off a mortgage? Think about it. I'm not talking about, just to make a blanket statement like 90% of all mortgage holders will never pay off. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, personally, how many people do you know that have had a mortgage and actually paid it off? If you count it up, of all the people you know that have a mortgage, less than 10% of those people that you know paid it off. Why is that? What's going on with that number? That's crazy. Because when you think about it, when you stop to think about it, now I got Kurt Nugent, he's in the background making sure that everything goes out live on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, all right? I got Patricia Alexander in here this morning watching us from YouTube. Hi, Patricia. How are you doing? All right. Good to see you. All right. And she says, not many people. Listen, what we're talking about, folks, is what is happening for real in this industry, and what is there something you can do about it? Let's first talk about some of the things that we have been taught to do, that we understand we should do, because the very things that we've been taught, the very things that we consider best practices, contribute to 90% of the people you know never paying off a mortgage. 90% not paying off a mortgage. And why? Because of what they've been taught to do as best practices. What? You mean we're doing our very best? We're doing what the experts are teaching, and that's happening to most of us. So before we get started here, folks, I need you to start sharing the room. I'm going to go ahead and say good morning in the chat. Okay. Good morning to you all. Putting that in the chat. Go ahead and start sharing the room. And if you're watching us live on the social media platforms, go ahead and share it to everyone there as well. I'm going to put my link at the top of the page. All right. And there's something special that's been added to the link, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. So let me go ahead and pin my link, ice10k.com. All right. And if you're online, the people that I'm talking to that may be talking back, some of those people are on Clubhouse. All right. And if you don't have the Clubhouse app, and if you're watching us online, go ahead and download that Clubhouse app on your cell phone. And listen, there's a wealth of knowledge out there in whatever subject you're interested in. Wealth of knowledge. You don't want to miss out on that. So, folks, go ahead and start and continue to share and say, okay, we got good morning from Douglas, Georgia. That's Jonathan Jones. Daniel is back again. Good morning, Daniel. How are you doing? And Keitha Thompson, she's here. Good morning to you. Excellent, excellent. And if you are watching us live, go ahead and tell us who you are and where you're from as well. James Davila, is that how you pronounce it? James, watching us on Facebook. And Tamara Staley says good morning to everyone from YouTube. All right, folks, listen, what we're going to do before we jump in, I need you all to know that there are people out there all over the country that are jumping on board this train, paying off the mortgage in 7 to 9 years. Let's talk about how that gets done. But first, let me share with you someone that's already done it. His name is Dr. Eric Thomas. They call him E.T. the hip hop preacher. I even had an opportunity. This guy is a New York Times best-selling author, Dr. Eric Thomas. Okay, he would come on. Thank God it's Monday. And he was putting out so much content every week. It was crazy until he just blew up. Now he speaks to the NFL, the Major League Baseball. He talks to the NBA. He is a regular speaker. Talking to colleges and universities. Fortune 100 and 500 companies bring him in to motivate their people. This is the guy we're talking about. And I actually got to place an autographed copy of my book in his hand. How about that? I love that fact. But listen to what he has to say about the P.I.L.L method, and we'll jump in.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
All right, folks, here's what we're doing. If you want to know the month, day, and year you can be debt-free, man, oh man, take advantage of this opportunity to get a savings and earnings report. Go to ICE10K.com. That's the link at the top of the page. If you're watching us online, it is ICE, stands for Interest Cancellation Expert, ICE10K.com. And then you'll find a button there that says Get a Savings and Earnings Report. Click on that button. Follow all of the directions. Then you'll enter into our financial page. Put everything in there about what you owe and the information we ask about it. And then you can know the month, day, and year you will be debt-free on all of that debt. The average client, the average American, has 13 different debts. That's average. Some have even more. All of that can be paid off in 7 to 9 years. The average American pays 35 to 39% of their take-home pay just on interest alone. Yes, even that can be cut by 75%, and you can still be out of debt in 7 to 9 years. The key? How not to pay all of that interest. So also, folks, I mentioned that I was able to give my book to Dr. Eric Thomas. And here is the book. It is called The P.I.L.L Method, A Better Way to Eliminate Debt. You can get it on Amazon. It has been a 5-time bestseller on Amazon. We're trying to get it there for a 6th time. Oh, I'm sorry. Not trying. It will become at least a 6th time bestseller, and probably even more, because each time it hits number 1, we mention it. All right. So, right now, get that book and add it to your Christmas list of things to give that are of significance. Give this book to family and friends because it's the only book out of 33 million titles on Amazon that talks about interest cancellation and how to beat the bank at their own game and the tools that you need. The book is a list of tools, it is not the tool itself. So if you're looking for the tool itself to accomplish this goal, it's not the book. The book leads you to the tools so that you can understand what you need to have, technology and education, so that you can know how to manage your finances in a brand new way. I am so excited to have everybody here today. And if you want to come to the stage, raise your hand and come up and talk about it today. So what kind of Oh, here we got Miss Fatima in here. Good morning, Miss Fatima. I see you. All right, Derek is here. He says he did purchase the book. He's reading it now. Thank you very much, Derek. We appreciate you. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning to everyone in here today. So follow the club and follow your moderator today. And I'll make sure that you get information that you cannot get anywhere else. Let's break this thing down. Why is it? How is it that people who are doing the very best they know how, 90% of the people you know will never pay off a mortgage? Oh, there we are. Miss Kareen is in the building. Let's invite her to speak. All right, Miss Fatima is here in the building. Let's invite her to speak. All right. All right, there we go. Make a moderator of Kareen. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. I saw your ping, but I couldn't find your room on the streets of Clubhouse. So I
Oh,
just went to your profile and found your schedule
all right. Well,
on
listen,
there.
thank you very much for being diligent in finding us. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Kareen, and tell the people who you are and what you do. And I think it's very significant that you are here.
Yes, good morning everybody. It is about 5:13 where I'm calling in from Portland, Oregon area. I'm here on Clubhouse because I help people make peace with their money through financial literacy inside my global platform, Kareen.club. My background is heavy in banking, financial services, which are FINRA regulated licenses, and insurance, which insurance is definitely protection for your accumulation of your wealth. I love what Dawn does because it is a big, big part of financial literacy. Learning about your mortgage amortization table or any sort of amortization for whatever debt you have. Because as a banker and I was a high level commercial lender, as a commercial lender, even we don't have that kind of training. It's not part of banking industry training. And it starts, as I'm going through my life and I become older, I start thinking and asking questions about why is that? Because your banker in your neighborhood or your credit unions, they only teach you what they know. They're not going to teach you, and some of them don't even care and don't even take time to teach and educate people. They don't lead with education, they lead with their goals. They need to meet goals. They need to sell you the things so they can meet their goals and make more money for their family. Okay, that's why I enjoy being here, because every time I'm here I'm also learning, and then I can bring the kill back and teach my students and my clients. In fact, Dawn and I are going to connect behind the scene, and Dawn's going to be teaching a master class sometime next year in the quarter three. So Please stay tuned, write down some notes, grab your pen and paper, watch the YouTube. It's actually very powerful when you're listening on Clubhouse and also looking at the numbers on YouTube. Me too, Don. I am reading the book. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you very much, Kareem, for that. Fatima, I just saw you a few minutes ago. How are you doing this morning, and why are you here?
Hello there. I am doing fabulous. Of course, this is Fatima. I am a realtor from Dallas, Texas. And the reason why I'm here is, of course, to gain more knowledge about the P.I.L.L method and to see what I can do to add more value to my clients and as well as myself because I'm a homeowner. So if there's a way that I can pay my house off in 7 to 9 years, and I've been in my house for 3 or 4 years, I am here for it. So thank you for sharing this information because what's so unique is that you're the only one that I've come across that's been sharing this. So, I mean, I love going into the other rooms, that are very beneficial. But when you said that this morning, I was like, okay, I want to be more of a doer. And so that's my reason for being here. So thank you for having this space. And hopefully I can get a follow from you as well, Ice.
You've already got it. So tell me, Miss Fatima, what was said that brought you in today?
Well, of course, the main thing, I feel like the 7 to 9 years, for the mortgage thing, because that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. A lot of people just talk about getting you into the house. But once you're in, it's like, okay, if this is something that in the long run and I feel like I can introduce it to my clients, I'm all ears. I want to know about it. Of course, today I'll be purchasing the book. And, so that's pretty much what's drawn me to it, seeing what added value I can give to my clients and information I can learn as well in the process.
Well, good enough, good enough. So, folks, here's what we're doing right now. Do you see my digital card here? All right, I've got my digital card here. We've added something to the digital card. If you will go to the link and then, excuse me, you'll go down, and if you click on that link, you will see where is it? Referrals are the best compliments to give. You will see a button mark that under referrals are the best compliments to give. If you want to share the P.I.L.L method with someone and they have a mortgage or they're at least have at least $100,000 in debt, if you share this information with them and they want to know more, and either they fill this out or you fill it out, and they put you down as their referral, then once they become a client, I will send you $300. Now, if you really want to get excited, find out how you can grow that $300 for every client to $1,000 for every new client. Oh my goodness. So if you get excited about this information, you want to save my link, ice10k.com. You want to save that to your phone. And as you're talking to people over the holidays and somehow the conversation gets around to my debt or my mortgage or my refinance, anything that has to do with finances and loans, share this information with them. Let me give you something that's going to be real easy. Okay. Send them to my YouTube channel and then follow up with them in 2 days. See, people who don't follow up, foul up. I'll repeat that. People who don't follow up, foul up. So send them to my YouTube channel and then follow up with them in 2 days. And then ask them, is this something that you are, that resonates with you? If so, send that link to us, fill it out with their contact information, and with you as the referral. And once they become a client, we will send you $300. Now, there are some restrictions that will apply, so you got to find out. We're not going to get into all the details here, but let's talk about it. Let's get in there and let's see how you can get an extra $300 for just sending somebody to my YouTube channel and following up with them in 2 days and find out what they think about what they're seeing. All right. And then send that information in. And when they become a client, boom, $300. Now, if you start liking that, then find out how you can grow that $300 per client into $1,000 per new client. I'm excited about this new program, folks. Tamara says she's excited about it too. She says referral program, and she puts 3 fire emojis on it. That's what we're talking about. Now, the reason why we have to do it this way, folks, is because other referral programs, they have a website, and they'll give you a referral link and that sort of thing, and they can go to the website and purchase. And because of that, then people will get paid. People can't come to our website and purchase, because we guarantee their results. We must vet every one of our new clients to see if our program can actually be of benefit, because we guarantee for a lifetime that if they follow our program, they're going to get the results that they paid for. Guaranteed. Oh my gosh, who was that? Thank you. Let me get out of this back channel and see who's helping me out this morning. I appreciate that. I appreciate it so very much. So, folks, that's what we mean. Oh my goodness, I don't even know who's doing that. Is that?
Wasn't me.
Wasn't you?
It wasn't me, so I guess the universe is doing it for you.
Listen, I appreciate that. Maybe it's Kirk. I don't know. Kirk, is that you? All right, let me take my that was my engineer. Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. So, folks, we're going to be doing something new. So, listen, we're going to be doing something new in the new year, and this is just one of them. This is just one of the things we're going to be doing in the new year. We're going to be partnering with everyone who watches our videos and wants to share. So, So now the other companies, they just want you to share. Go ahead and share. But what do they give you for sharing? Zilch. What are they making off your sharing? A lot. So we want you to benefit also from sharing. So if you see that button, tell me if you see it. Go on, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat if you see that button and how it just, Fatima said, I just registered. Referrals are awesome. That's what Daniel said. Fatima is excited as well. Listen, we're going to go into this new year not only helping people, but I read a book once that said, if you help enough other people get what they want, you get what you want. I also read in another book that says your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. So let's build up that income, folks. Let's start helping people. Let's start serving people, because the information you're going to receive today is unlike anything you have seen or heard before. And Fatima, just so that you know, you said you don't see this anywhere else. Well, there's a reason why you don't see this anywhere else, and I'm going to start here today. I just watched a documentary yesterday on people who are autistic. Okay, and speaking, believe it or not, was not always something that was easy for me to do. And even now, I find it hard sometimes to come up with the right words. So the practice I get helps me to communicate at a higher level. And by being on here 3 days a week helps me tremendously to communicate. But the real reason that everybody is here today is because I am autistic. I see things differently. I see things other people don't see. I see things in pictures and patterns. So when I look at an amortization schedule, I see what's going on behind the scenes. And I see why we are being charged 75% more interest than we need to because we don't understand it. But I also see how not to do it. Now, with that information, how can we optimize? All right, how can we do better? How can we do the very best we can know that we know how? Is to use technology along with, come on now, using technology along with the information, the education. So, what about the education? You have to unlearn practically every single thing you've ever learned about how debt works, how mortgages work, how credit cards work, how car loans work, how the whole credit system works, how banks make their money. You have to forget everything and learn something new. This is not additional information that you're getting here with the P.I.L.L method. This is disruptive information. That's why you don't see it anywhere else. Okay? All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started. Let's put something on the screen here. And I'm going to share this over here, put this over here, and then we're going to let me see here. I've got to make sure my engineer can see the screen. Kurt, listen, man, we haven't heard from you in a while. It's Christmas time. So listen, if you can, pop in here and talk to the folks and let them know how they can do what we're doing, sharing all of this content on social media. All right, so we are going to share screen 2. And then I'm also going to, let me see here. Now, boom, and we'll turn this on. There we are. All right. So what we're talking about, folks, is today. Today, people need to realize what's going on. What is going on is this. 90% of the people you know do not and will never pay off a mortgage. And there's a reason why. Now I'm going to be going hard and fast. So I may need some help every now and then to look back at the screen and to see if anybody's raising their hand to come up. All right. But let's go ahead and get started. All right. So how to pay off mortgages and all other debt in about 7 years. So already we are attacking that model. Let's find out why in the world it is taking so long for people to pay off their debt. And some people never will. In fact, most people never will pay off their debt. So I've got some notes here. So we're going to go write down the notes. So let's go ahead and get into this thing so we can see what's happening. All right. I see in there, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I just announced how now Jeffrey is a referral partner. OK, Jeffrey, if you save my my link to my digital card, ice10k.com, I added a new button. All right. That talks about referrals. So save that information. And when you send us a referral, use that button, write your name in as the referral partner. And when that person becomes a client, we will send you out that check. All right. So let's do that, folks. So here's what we're talking about. Here's where we're starting. OK, let me go straight to here. All right. So ice10k.com. That is the link. And if you are watching the replay on this, this is open to you as well. If you're watching the replay, even if you don't know me, you can take this link, ice10k.com, and then find that button that says, talks about referrals, and share this information with them. And it's going to be easy to do. All you do is send them to my YouTube channel and follow up with them in 2 days. Just tell them, I'll follow up with you in 2 days. If you know somebody who is talking about their refinance, or they're getting a mortgage, they're concerned about interest rates, they're concerned about their student loans, if they are at least $100,000 in debt, if they have a mortgage, send them to me. If they are contemplating doing something in a better or different way, okay? Then put your name in the referral spot, and when they become a client, we will send you $300. Okay? That's it. We'll send you $300. Put your information in there, and let's talk about it today. All right? So we got the pillmethod.com, and that is another place where if you want to get a savings and earnings report, you can go here too. Okay? We're talking about the book this morning, the book that kicked this whole thing off. All the information the basic information is contained in this book to show you how to get the tools. It's not the tool itself, okay? It shows you, it's a list of the tools you need to eliminate debt, all right? It's a list of the tools you need. So get the book and understand why you need new tools. So let's get ready to get started. 90% of the people you know with a mortgage will never own their home free and clear. Folks, is that why people get a mortgage? So they can never actually own it? That whole idea of home ownership is a misnomer. Okay, we have been told we are homeowners when in fact we're actually home buyers. You're a home owner once the mortgage is paid. All right? Is that about right, folks? Ms. Fatima, would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And how you broke it down is to a T. You are not a homeowner just yet. We bought the home, but how can we own it? And especially in 7 to 9 years, tell us about it.
Here we go, folks. Here we go. All right. So here's some things we're going to start with. What is getting in your way? What is getting in your way of owning your home? All right. One thing that's getting in your way is that 30-year loans should pay off in 7 to 9 years on average. They should. They should. Not only your mortgage, but all of your debt. Everything. All right. And you should be able to do it without refinancing your loan, without change to your budget, meaning you don't have to make more money to do this, and without sacrificing lifestyle. You don't have to sacrifice lifestyle to do this. Miss Charlene, I saw you earlier. I see you in here. All right. So listen, I'm following you now. And Miss Charlene, we're going to be talking to your group tonight. Would you like to come up to the stage? And if you listen, raise your hand if you'd like to come up to the stage, and let's talk about how I'm going to be speaking to your group, if at all possible. So let me know if you can come to the stage. Just raise your hand, okay? But we're glad to have you in our club this morning. All right. So, folks, you should be able to do this all without changing your lifestyle. What does that mean? Well, there are people out there that talk about to do this, to get out of debt, you need to cut up your credit cards. You need to drive a 30-year-old car, okay? You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything because we got to take that money and pay off that debt. What else are they saying? You got to eat beans and rice forever. All right. Okay. No. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You got to sell pizzas at night. You got to make extra money. No, what we're doing is we're showing how you don't have to do all that. You don't have to sacrifice lifestyle, because what we focus on is how not to pay the interest. Now, there's no other profession out there that focuses on interest cancellation. That's number one. Let me show you what I mean. Who does not learn interest cancellation? Your accountant doesn't learn interest cancellation. Financial planners don't learn interest cancellation. Your banker or the person who sold you your mortgage, they don't understand how a mortgage actually works. None of these people do. I had a lady come on our stage just the other day, and no. She didn't come to the stage. She sent me an email. She says, I read your book and I saw some of your videos. That's what she said. Okay. Once we did that, are you kidding me? Wait a minute here. Wait a minute. Somebody listen, is it okay if somebody sent a referral in already. Is it okay if I mention it? Can I mention it? I'm going to tell you how easy that is. So whoever sent this referral into me, just tell me if it's okay if I mention your name. All right, they're not saying nothing, okay? But listen, folks, I'm telling you how easy it is. Somebody went to the link already and put it in a referral already. So we're going to call this person, okay? We're going to call this person and then work with them and see if we can help them do what they wanted to do. And once they become a client, they will get a referral fee. And let me tell you something, folks. This is something I didn't mention before. You can get a referral fee even on your own program once you become a client. Oh, Lord have mercy. Wow. All right, folks, this is what we're talking about. All right, so let's go ahead and put this down here. And here's what we're talking about. You will also not hear this from these financial gurus. Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman, Gene Chatsky, or Larry Burkett. It is not that they don't have good information. They just don't have this information. They have old information that's been out there for years. And this is part of the reason why 90% of the people you know will never pay off a mortgage because of the information that they're sharing. All right. You need to learn something new. This was okay before, but it ain't okay now. There's a new sheriff in town. Okay. So here's what we're talking about. The ability to read and defeat an amortization schedule. Number one, reading is fundamental. One of the reasons why people will never pay off a home, the first reason is they don't know how to read an amortization schedule. Write it down. You've got to understand what the bank is doing so that you can come up with a better plan, a better way of doing things. That's the reason why we entitled our book, The P.I.L.L Method, A Better Way to Eliminate Debt, because you need to do something new. All right. So we need to learn how to read an amortization schedule, and how that's done is not taught at any level of financial education to anyone. All right. It's not taught. Even Karen says so. All right. So here is what the P.I.L.L method stands for: prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. I want to make another thing clear. Your mortgage is not compound interest. Get that out of your head. But Albert Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Dodd Daniel says amortized interest must be the ninth then, because it is much more powerful. Banks use amortized interest to charge you all of that interest. Here is the formula that they use. I don't really understand the formula. I just know it costs us a lot of money, and you don't need to pay it. There's a way that our computer can beat their computer at this game, and we're also going to give you superior education. See, some people think we're a technology company, Kareem, but we're not. People like the technology. It's sexy, but we're not a technology company. We're an education company. That's our bread and butter. It's the education that you receive. You see, everybody can go out and buy a computer. If you have the money, you can buy a computer. But can you get the most out of that computer without education? Absolutely not. You can get our program, but if you don't use the program correctly, you're going to get faulty information, garbage in, garbage out. So the most important part of this is the education that we provide that you can't get anywhere else. Do you mean, listen, folks, people tell me all the time, and if you're listening, all right, I need you to share this with other people. Continue to share the room. We got 6 shares. Continue to share the room, please. All right. When people contact my office, sometimes they say, Don, I understand the pill method. What do I do next? I guarantee you from watching my videos, you do not understand the pill method. You don't, because it is impossible to understand it from the videos. From the videos, you know that there's something that you didn't know before, and there's something that you need to know for the future. But to say you understand the pill method from watching the videos, that's like saying, you know what? I saw some nursing videos on YouTube, and now I want to be a nurse. I understand being a nurse. Or I saw somebody practicing how to swing a baseball bat, and now I want to go play in the major leagues. It doesn't happen that way, especially when it comes to these finances and how intricate and complicated they are. We take something that's complicated and we simplify it for you in our videos. It doesn't mean it's simple. It's a complicated thing that we've made, that we've simplified. We have not made it simple. Okay, so that's the next thing you need to understand. Now, what is it that we're going to do about this information? If the banks have an algorithm, or a formula, all right, to charge us all of this interest, where is your algorithm to cut interest cost? Where is it? Here's what the banks don't want you to know. All right, are you ready? All right, I see. Listen, I got 7 shares. I'm getting ready to show you why 90% of all people you know will never pay off a mortgage, and I got 7 shares.
Hey, Don.
Yes.
It's Kareen.
Come on, Kareen.
So what you just said is essentially we get the what on the video, but we don't get the how on the videos that's on YouTube. And in order to get the how, it's what your company address. The other thing too is that it just simply creates awareness that there is such a thing. And in order for it to be, because you do customize, because every individual that lives on this planet is going to have a unique situation and lifestyle. So I just wanted to add to what you just said.
Thank you for that. You're exactly right. All right? You're exactly right. We talk about the what, but you need to get with us to understand the how for you. Now, there is a lot of information out there, and they're saying that if everybody does this, you'll be able to benefit. We will never tell you that. This is something that everybody does in this manner. No, we give you an optimized situation. You know, somebody called us up the other day, Kareen, called my assistant on the phone and said, all I want to know is what is the right day to put extra money on my car note so I can pay it off sooner. That's what they said. It says, certainly you can tell me that day. Put your put something in your software and tell me the day. And my assistant was saying, it doesn't work that way. There is no one day, not even for our clients. What we do is the optimum amount of money to pay and the optimum day to pay it is constantly changing based on new information that we get from your finances every single month. That's why we can know exactly what to do. Do you know when you get in an airplane from New York, do you know, John Ford, how you doing, brother? How you doing? All right. So listen, when you get on an airplane, everybody, from New York, and then you fly into California, the pilot doesn't point the plane west to California and then goes. No, it's a constant set of course corrections that get you from New York to California. It's always changing to optimize the performance of the plane. They don't just point it there and says, here's how you fly a plane, point it at California and you'll get there. No. It doesn't work. And it doesn't work like that in your finances. People want to know, what are the 1, 2, or 3 things I can do for me to get out of debt? It doesn't work that way. All right. Here's what bankers don't want you to know, everybody. Okay. Here's what they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know this. Okay. They don't want you to know. Amortized interest is deceptive. Here is the second thing you want to write down. Here's the second thing you want to write down is this, and this is where we're going to start. The interest rate you're quoted is not the interest rate you pay. So if everybody, the first thing that keeps us in debt forever, if you're new to the stage and you want to see what I have on here, go to YouTube. Let's just make it easy, okay? Go to YouTube. We're on all your social media, but go to YouTube and on a secondary device and watch what we're doing here today. All right. And search for P.I.L.L method and you'll be able to see what we're doing. Bring up, go get your tablet or your computer and watch what we're doing here, because we're going to be putting some numbers on the screen. The interest rate you're quoted is not the interest rate you pay. What do you mean by that, Don? Of course, it's the interest rate I negotiated for. I even paid money to get this interest rate. OK, number one, don't do that. Don't pay money to get a better interest rate unless you need to have the payment. Wanting a better payment and needing a better payment, a lower payment, are two different things. Most of the time, people just want a lower payment and they will pay extra money to get it. Don't do that. I have done videos on that, why that is not an optimum use of your money. But here's what we mean by the interest rate you're quoted is not the interest rate you're actually paying. Here's a $500,000 mortgage. All right, everybody tuning in. I've got more people online. I've got 9 shares in this room. Okay, 9 shares in this room. Let me get to number 10, please. Let me get to number 10. All right. All right. Let me get to number 10. Let me see what if we got there yet. All right.
I got you, Don.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. Keep sharing the room, folks, because there's people that want to know this. I have a $500,000 mortgage at 3%. The payment on that is $2,108.02 for 30 years. And this is how mortgages are sold. 3%. 3%. And right now, people would kill for a 3% rate. But here is the interest cost on that 3% rate. Okay. On a $500,000 mortgage, the bank wants you to pay them $258,887.20. That is the rent on borrowing their money. Now, why is that significant? It's significant for this reason. Help me. All right. It's significant for this reason. If 90% of the people you know will never pay off a mortgage, and they have contracted to pay this much interest over 30 years, then that means that they're actually going to pay more interest than this, because they'll never be out of debt. They'll never be out, so they're going to pay more than this. But and not only that, folks, but $258,887.20. Is that 3% of $500,000? That's number one. That's question number one. And I need you to put it in the chat. Yes or no. is $258,000, 3% of $500,000. John Ford says no. Anybody else? Anybody else? How about online? All right. All right. We've got Legend Webby. Says good morning, Don. Brother Don, he's watching us on YouTube this morning. Stephanie Rice is here watching us on YouTube this morning. Thank you, Stephanie, for tuning in and finding out why people will never pay off a mortgage. Okay. And it's not. You know why it's not 3%, folks? Because it is actually 51.777% of what you borrowed. All 3% mortgages, every single one. If you have it for 30 years, if you have a 30-year amortization, you will pay back 51.777% in interest cost if you are not careful. All 3% loans are 51% loans. Every single, almost 52%. And it's legal to do this. Okay, it's legal to do this. How in the world can they call 3%? Now, I've gone over this in other videos. Okay, now if I stop to break down everything as to why, then we won't get done today. So watch my other videos, because we actually do this. We actually do the math on how they turn a 3% loan into a 51% loan. All right, folks. Here we go. If you have a $500,000 mortgage and it's at 4%, okay, this is what we're quoted, but we end up paying $359,000. That's 71.87%. That's another reason why people will never pay off a loan, because they're giving the bank 71% interest when it should be 4%. We can show you how to make it 4%. But if you don't do anything, you're going to pay back 71.87% of what you borrowed. It becomes a 71% loan. 5% interest? Oh, goodness. Now you're paying back almost as much as you borrowed in interest. So that's $466,000. Do you see what's going on here, folks? You're buying a $500,000 house, $500,000. And by the time you're done, you're going to pay over $1 million for that house. So right now, it's only $966,000. At this point, it's only $966,000. But if a person will never pay it off, then they're going to pay more than that. What about 6%? That's interest rates are at 6 and 7% now. Somebody who is borrowing $500,000 at 6%, they're signing a contract today to pay back $579,190. 90% of the people you know will never pay this off. So that means that they're going to take this to their grave and probably pay more than this. Okay, 115.838%. You're going to pay back more in interest than you borrowed in principal. This has become $1,079,000. $1,079,000. And if it's 7%, like my friends in Bermuda, my friends in Jamaica, my friends in other countries, now we're paying back 139%. That $500,000 becomes $697,000 in interest paid back. That is the main reason. That is the main reason why we are in debt forever, because the interest rate we're quoted is not the interest rate we pay. Write it down. Okay? What's next? Where's my notes here? What are we going to talk about next? Okay? What are we talking about next? Oh my goodness. Oh my. I gotta get my right notes.
Don, while you do that,
yes.
This is crazy information, because when we get a loan and we go to the title companies and we sit down on the closing table, none of these are discussed during the signing process. So I just want to say, mind blown.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that today. All right. So, let's see here. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let me get to my notes so I want to do things in order. All right. I want to do things in order. Okay. Now, here's what you need to know. Here's what we're going to talk about next. Most people, if they have a 30-year mortgage, okay, most people, if they have a 30-year mortgage, it is not a 30-year mortgage. Most people who have a 30-year mortgage, not a 30-year. You know why? Because Americans don't have 30-year mortgages. They have a string of 5 to 7 year mortgages until they die. What? What do you mean? What do you mean? I mean this. Every 5 to 7 years, if you have a mortgage here in the United States, you're going to get phone calls, you're going to get emails, you're going to get snail mail. They're going to fill up your mailbox with offers to refinance. And most of you will refinance that loan for whatever reason every 5 to 7 years. Can I just share with you what we're talking about here? All right? I'm going to give you a little story. Here's the story. The story is this. A young couple get married. They buy a house. It's a cute little house, okay? And as soon as they listen, folks, as soon as they have 1.5 children, that means they have one child and one on the way. And it's usually about 5 to 7 years in, okay? 5 to 7 years in. What are they going to realize when they've got one child already and another child on the way? What are they going to realize? They're going to realize their house is too small. 5 to 7 years in. What are they going to do? They're going to go out and get a brand new house with a 30-year mortgage. So now they started out with a 30-year mortgage. They're 7 years in. And now they're going to get another 30-year mortgage because now they can afford it and they need a bigger house. So folks, when you add it all up, isn't that 37 years we're going to have a mortgage? Tell me if I got it wrong. Okay. And so now, they're in that brand new house, and the children are comfy in that house, and everybody's got enough room. But guess what's going to happen? The rates are going to go down 5 to 7 years from now. And when the rates go down, what are they going to be encouraged to do? I mean, they're going to get phone calls. They're going to get mail. Come in. Let's refinance you. Let's save you money. Even from their own bank that has them at the higher interest rate. And do you know? If I can save 2 points, here's what the gurus tell you. If you can save 2 points, maybe even 1.5 points on that, jump on that refinance. Because you'll be able to get that lower interest rate, and that's going to help you. Okay? Do you realize that the lower interest rate is not the major factor in lowering your payment? It is a factor, but it's not the major factor. Do you know what the major factor is in lowering your payment? Is taking what, because you've been paying on that loan for 7 years now. You've paid it down from where it was. And now the bank says, we're going to offer you a refinance and save you money. They're going to take what you owe now and divide it by a new 360 payments. That is the major factor that lowers your payment, not the lower interest rate. Okay? I've also done a video on this. When you lower the interest rate, you make it harder to pay the loan off faster and cheaper. Look for those videos. When you lower the interest rate, you make it harder to pay the loan off faster and cheaper. So here's the thing you want to remember. Ask yourself this question when your bank, especially your bank, is offering you to do you a favor. We're going to lower your interest rate and lower your payment. Just ask yourself, if I'm saving money, then who is losing money? If I'm saving money, who's losing it? If your answer is the bank, oh, please, it's not that. They are not losing here. Why would they, even your own bank, put you in a situation where you're saving, which means they're losing? Why would they ever do that with you or for you? They're not beholden to you. They're beholden to their shareholders, and their shareholders demand that they make money. So they're making sure that if you refinance, they're going to make money on the deal and not you. It just looks like you're saving money because you're only looking at a narrow slice of the whole thing. With the P.I.L.L method, we're going to show you the whole shooting match of when you refinance, how the bank makes money. They make money at least 7 different ways on a refinance. So you're wondering, why do most people never pay it off? Here's one. Refinancing every 5 to 7 years. Now, this couple, they've already refinanced. They already got a new mortgage. Okay, they were 7 years in. Now, because they can save 2 points, they're going to refinance. They're going to refinance now. That means they've been in this mortgage 14 years, and now they're going to get a new 30-year mortgage. 14 plus 30. Let me see. Carry the 44 years. 44 years now to get out of debt. No one who is refinancing is counting up the number of years they're adding on. I guarantee you, or they wouldn't be doing it because they plan to get into this thing and be done in 30. But somebody sold them a bill of goods and says you can get out of debt just by getting refinancing and get a lower interest rate. Now you have a 44-year mortgage. And now, okay, 7 more years in, that brings us up to 21 years, folks. This couple really did mean to save enough money for little Bobby and little Susie to go to college. They really did mean to do that. Okay? But it just so happened that they could not quite get around to it. But their house has increased in value. And so now what are they going to do to get the money for John and Susie to go to college? They're going to refinance again at 21 years. Take cash out. Take cash out, and now they're going to owe even more than they did at the beginning and add on another 7 years. That's 21 years and 30. Now it's a 51-year mortgage. It's 51 years. 51 years. Now, here's the last part of this story. The kids were successful in completing college. They're starting on their careers. They moved out of mom and dad's big house. What are mom and dad going to do now? What's the word, folks? Is it called downsizing? So they're going to go downsize. Okay. They've already refinanced 3 times. Okay. That after 21 years. Okay. 21 years. Okay. If they started at 25, and they added 21 years on. All right. Wow. Now they're going to get a brand new 30-year mortgage, and they're pretty close to 50 with a brand new 30-year mortgage. That means they're going to be at least 80, and some are even older 80 or 90 to pay off that. And guess what? Before they get to age 80 or 90, guess what? They're going to refinance at least one more time. They'll never be out of debt. They're going to die with it. Because at a certain point, a switch comes on. At a certain point, a switch comes on. It says, I started out to pay off this thing, and now a switch flips in the brain, and then they say, I'll beat this bank at their own game. I'll never pay this thing off. I'll die with it. That's what they start to tell themselves. That's how they win at the game. They tell themselves they're going to die with the mortgage and never pay it off. And that's how they win. No, folks, let's not do that. Okay? That's just one of the things that we're learning about this whole business. All right? So what else? All right, what else are we saying? Okay, that's the mortgage story. All right. So what happens? What happens when the market is hot? Okay, what happens when the market is hot and you pay more? You pay more for your mortgage. You pay more for the house than it is actually worth. What happens when you do that? Now, that's going to add to everything else. Okay, you started with a house at market price, but because of the competition, you had to pay more than market for the house. So you're actually paying more than the house is worth. What happens when you have to sell that house? What happens if you get laid off? What happens if finances change? How do you sell a house? How do you sell a house where you owe more on it than you owe more than the house is worth? What happens then? That means you've got to come up with cash to sell your own house to bring to the table. That's what that means. So, folks, there is so much going on here when people do not realize about not being able to read an amortization schedule. Let's talk about that right now. So, one of the things that the reason why people are in debt forever is because they refinance. Here's another one. They don't know how to read an amortization schedule. Okay? So let's learn how to read an amortization schedule right now. Here's something in your mortgage papers that you need to know right now. Okay? Watch this. The borrower's right to prepay. That's in your mortgage papers. It's in your mortgage papers. You need to understand this. I have the right to make payments of principal at any time before they are due. And a payment of principal only is known as a prepayment. Folks, that is so very powerful. It is huge, huge. Just understanding that, because when we understand that, we borrowed money from the bank. We're actually renting their money. There is a way for you to pay them back their money without stressing your budget, which makes it impossible for them to charge you interest. Impossible. I'm going to show you a little bit about how that works. Now, pull out your mortgage papers, find the borrower's right to prepay, and understand it. I've gone over it in detail in other videos. All right, and so watch the replay, and you can study this thing. But the important thing is here, by understanding it, there is a time frame in which you can give the bank money and they can't charge you interest. And you can do that with your current budget, and you don't have to sacrifice your lifestyle to do it. Todd, how is that possible? Let me give you a little insight. Just a little insight. Here's a $200,000 mortgage at 6%. Here's how much the bank wants in interest for 30 years, $231,676. That's a lot of money. In fact, what it comes down to is the total prepaid is $431,676. At least. It'll be more, but at least that much. That's one house for you and one house for the bank. All right. And the percentage really is not 6%, but it's 115.838%. Let me show you how to read this thing just to give you some basics on how it is that the bank gets to charge us all of this money, and it takes forever to pay it off. I mean, we're going to be in this thing until we die. So when you make that payment of $11.99.10, look how much money goes to principal. Look how much money goes to interest. $1,000 of your money goes to interest. Folks, that is a huge percentage of your money going to interest. Huge percentage. Does anybody want to pay that? Does anybody want to pay that kind of money? That is crazy money. So if you know how to read this thing, then if you're on line 1 of your amortization schedule, take a look at line 2. That's $200.10. That's what you would pay next month. All right. But did you know that you could prepay that $200.10? Let's say you have a little money in the bank. Prepay the $200.10. In the same month you made your regular mortgage payment, did you know that when you give that money to the bank, you don't pay interest at all when you give them that money? You've already given them the interest for January. You can give them an extra $200.10, the money they were expecting to get next month, but you're giving it to them this month, and you're paid down to line 2 on your amortization schedule, not for nearly $1,200, but just for $200.10. Line 2 is gone on your amortization schedule. Boom! It's out of here. What just happened? You did this. By giving it that, you eliminated one line on your schedule, and you just killed $999 in interest you never have to pay. So remember what I was saying? You can give the bank money, which makes it impossible for them to charge you the interest that they wanted to charge you. Because if you look at your amortization schedule, on every line, you pay principal and you pay interest. Kareen, if you can listen, if you can comment, flash your mic, and help me help the people to understand what we're talking about. If this is something you can do, just jump right in when you're available, okay? Because folks, here's what they want. They want you to make all payments on time. And when you do, each time you give them a payment, you're actually paying rent on your money. Here is another thing you want to write down. Why is it taking so long? Why do people die with it? Because here's the bank's job. Their job is to rent you money for as long as they can, for as much as they can. All right, that's it. For as long as they can, for as much as they can. Everything you do here to save money, everything they do to save you money actually costs you more money. So if you can give them, if they had their way, you would be paying down your mortgage for one whole year. Look at this, 12 months, 13 months I've got on this on the screen right now, 13 payments. And if you make all 13 payments on time, you're paying your mortgage down by $200 payments while you're giving them nearly $1,000 in rent every single month. So you go from renting a house for life to renting money for life, folks.
Hey, Don, it's Kareen.
Come on, Kareen, help me out here.
So you mean to say, because I'm on YouTube, right? You mean to say that the bank actually legally robs us our money, and you mean to say that all I need to do in the line item number 2 is give them $200 of my money, and I save almost $1,000 in interest. Now that's a return on investment. That's amazing.
That is a huge return on investment, a huge return on investment. So listen, I'm going to show you how to do return on investment. Do I have anybody who has a calculator handy? All right. Okay. The return on investment. So if you have $999, okay, here's what I want you to do. $999 divided by, because when you have a return on investment, now you you take your asset, your $200 that you invested, and your return, and do a little bit of math. Take the $9.99 that you just saved and the $200 that you invested, and divide the $9.99 by $200.10. Put $999 in your calculator and divide it by $200.10. What do we get? Does anybody know? Can anybody tell me?
It's almost 500%, Don.
That's almost 500% return on your money. And what did they do? They took $200 out of their bank account that they're making 0.1% on, took that money up, invested it into their mortgage, prepaid it, and got nearly a 500% return on that same amount of money. Folks, you can't get that anywhere else. 500% return? That's crazy.
Hey, Don,
yes.
all you do is skip a happy hour.
Wow. So listen, folks, here's the next piece. Here's the next piece. Okay. The next piece here. Learning how to read an amortization schedule is key. So if we did that with one, what if we have a few bucks in the bank? And what if we could take out the next three principal payments? $200.10, $201.10, $202.10. What if we did that? That's $603.30. Prepay that. And what happens next is amazing. We eliminate nearly $3,000 in interest. Wow. That's what we're talking about, folks. Nearly $3,000 in interest is eliminated. And my next mortgage payment for next month is on line 5, not line 2. Line 5 and not line 2. I eliminate lines, I eliminate payments from my amortization schedule, and I eliminate interest from my amortization schedule. So I'm going to get out of debt faster and cheaper by knowing exactly how much money to pay and when to pay it. This is where our program comes in. Our program comes in here to tell you how much money to pay and when to pay it, how to look at your money, the money that you have in the bank, the money you have on your lines of credit, how you are borrowing money, how you are paying for things in the future. We're going to show you how to get the biggest bang out of your buck, how to leverage all of your resources so you can buy whatever you need to buy and pay the least amount of interest that's mathematically possible. Now, here's another thing that keeps you in debt forever. Okay? By only looking at one place when you're saving interest. Looking at one place when you're saving interest. Now I'm going to talk about opportunity cost. We're going to stay right here. I have on my credit card, I owe $2,456 on my credit card. $2,456 on my credit card. And I've been taught to pay off my credit card every single month. Even if I have a credit card at 27%, okay? And I owe let me get my calculator out here. I've got my calculator here on my phone. All right. So I have I'm going to figure out how much interest I would owe, and you guys can do this with me if you go to let me get out of the show here. Let me get out of this. I'll bring it back. I want to show you something here. I'm going to bring up an amortization schedule. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. And now we're going to bring up an amortization schedule. I'm going to put Brett Whistle in there. And we're going to do a, let me see here. All right. Now we're going to put in $2,456. Okay. And we have an interest rate of 27%. All credit cards are amortized over 240 months. Okay. That's what's happening there. All right. And here is the amount of interest that we would owe in 1 month. I'm going to show you here. The amount of interest we would owe in 1 month is $55.26. Okay? Even at 27% interest. All right? Now, keep that in mind. Keep this in mind, $55.26 when we put this back on the screen. All right, put it back on the screen. $55.26. If you pay off that credit card today, you will save that interest that you will not have to pay, $55.26. But if you take that 2456, if you take that 2456.01, all right, and prepay that, take the 2456 instead of paying off the credit card and saving $56, saving $55 in interest, what would happen if you prepaid the 2456.01? It saves you that, almost $11,000 in interest. $11,000 in interest instead of the small amount of interest that they're charging on the 27% card. Folks, if we don't watch out what we're doing, we're going to make opportunity cost mistakes like this forever. We've been told by the banking institutions who are in charge of your financial education. Banking institutions are in charge of your financial education. They're not teaching you, but they're in charge of it. Do you know how many banks give away free banking information to high schools and colleges? I mean, they give you a whole curriculum to teach. And they're teaching things like this. They teach you how to hate credit card interest. While I'm hating credit card interest, guess what? I'm ignoring my mortgage interest. I'm hating credit card interest because I'm looking at the interest rate and not the interest cost. I'm not doing the math. So when I pay the extra money when I pay off the credit card, I'm only saving a little over $50 in interest. Well, if I put that same amount of money on this mortgage, it kills 11 mortgage payments I never have to make and $11,000 in interest I don't have to pay. Because I've learned how to hate credit card interest, so I will ignore my mortgage interest. Boy, I got 23 shares in here. All right. I got Kelly. Kelly, you been in here? Shoot. I didn't see it. I got Credit Ninja. Kelly, let's bring Kelly up.
Hey, Don, I have a question for you.
Go right ahead, please.
So are you saying that if someone has a mortgage and they have a thick credit card, and I know you have to do the math, right? But if the math works out to be better to pay off their mortgage sooner, are you saying you prioritize the mortgage and then your next step is to pay off the credit card? Is that what you're saying?
That is a very good question. But here's what I'm saying. Our program, which is an artificially intelligent computer program, tells you when to put money on the mortgage and when to put money on the credit card. You need to know when to do both. You're still going to pay off the credit card before you pay off the mortgage, believe me. Okay? But when we do that matters. So do you know how many people I talk to that they say, I never pay credit card interest. They never pay it. What if we learned how to leverage that money? What if there was a way? I'm just saying, I'm just kind of spitballing here. What if I say, listen, if I use my credit card to pay for food, to pay for gasoline, to pay for my monthly bills, and what if it's a rewards card? What if I could use my card to pay all of my monthly expenses every single month? Okay? And I get the points for that or the cash back. And then I strategically pay it back. And some of that extra money that I use to pay back well, that I would normally use to pay back the card, okay? I can now have a little extra money to put towards the mortgage principal, which saves me more interest. But what if there was a way to figure all of this out? All right. And I could show you by understanding your payment date and your closing date, where you could use their money for nearly 45 days interest free while you're saving a ton of interest on your mortgage and then pay them. You get the points for free. You get to use their money to put on the mortgage, which saves you interest right now. And you can still pay them so that they gain very little interest, and sometimes even none. That's what I'm saying, Karine. There's a way to do this so that you can optimize the amount of interest you're saving and minimize the amount of interest you pay the credit card. But let's use their money to leverage. Let me give you another example. Okay. Let me give you another example of this, Karine. And this is not a recommendation. It's just something to think about. Okay. To give you an idea of what I mean. What if, let me see if I can find another example here. Okay. All right. Let's bring this example up on the screen. Okay. Just because you mentioned that. All right. This is the one I want to do. All right. 24 months into this thing. All right. Let's just say you borrow $5,000 from your friend. Okay. And your friend is not making any money. Now, again, folks, this is just a thought experiment. It is not something I'm asking you to do or that my clients do. It's just a thought experiment. All right. So what if you were to get $5,000 from a friend and your friend is not making any money at the bank? I mean, less like 1/10 of 1%. And say, listen, I'll pay you 10% on your money. Friend says, 10% on my money? I mean, I'm not getting that. I'm not even getting close to that at the bank. So you're saying if I give you my $5,000, you're going to give that $5,000 back to me plus another $500. I'm going to make $500 on my $5,000. Yep, I will do that in a heartbeat. Okay, so that's what we do. Get us $5,000, prepay it to the mortgage. Look how much interest you save when you do that, and knock off 24 payments. Isn't that crazy? Take your friend's $5,000, prepay it to the mortgage, Karine, save $23,000 in interest, and then pay your friend back. Let's say you pay him back in a year and give him $500 for the use of the money, so you could knock off 24 payments and save 23 grand. Is that good stuff? Wow, folks. Listen, we've got some folks in here that have come in. All right. We've got Credit Ninja. We've got Kelly. Credit Ninja, how are you doing this morning? Can you speak to us? All right. Probably come in when you can.
She probably just woke up.
That's
Hey,
why.
John, I just want to say thank you. I gotta go.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate the questions. All right. All right. Sean, 10K, how you doing, man?
Captain Don down there, what's up, man?
Listen,
I ended the room and brought our people over here to support.
I
So
appreciate
what's up? What are we doing?
I appreciate it, man. We're talking about how people, 90% of the people you know will never pay off a mortgage. And if you're new to the room right now, then if you want to see the numbers that we're putting on the screen, go to YouTube right now. Go to YouTube and somebody bring Heather up. I saw she just came into the room. All right. Go to YouTube and you can watch. Now I'm on all the popular social media, but go to YouTube and search P.I.L.L Method and then you'll find our live broadcast if you want to see this. So, Sean, what brings you here today, man? What's going on with you?
I mean, I'm running my Join the 555, and then I remember I have a link to come and support my brother Don Daniel. And you know, Don, it's very simple. When individuals are out there trying to bring light and attention to making others have a better financial journey, I'm all for it, 100%. And for what you're doing for others, I think is extremely important. And sometimes it's just that one thing that will be said in a specific way that will get someone's attention. So I'm hoping by us being in this room this morning having a conversation, something will be said that will get into the minds of homeowners or members paying back a mortgage, or most importantly, they may be connected to someone that's paying back a mortgage, that you will be able to touch their life with this message to this. So I'm here for the conversation.
All right, thank you very much, man. So tell us what you do for a living, Sean, and then we'll continue.
Oh, that's super, super easy. If anyone out there is a business owner or you're a professional and you're sick and tired of telling people who you are and what you do every time you meet them, you may want to get a digital business card. It's a very simple way of putting all of your contact points in one place, guys. Your website, your phone number, your email, your social media, anything that you want to share with your clients, put it all into one place that's known as your 10K card, and you can share it with anyone, anywhere, at any time. And if you back channel me the word the pill method, I'll take $100 off the pro version for you, and that $100 is going to be a donation from Dawn to you. So if you want to get one of these digital card, guys, just back channel me the word the pill method. I'm going to have a team member reach out to you. We'll get you set up correctly, and you'll save $100 because you're using the code the pill method. So Dawn, back to you, buddy. Let's rock.
All right, thank you so very much. So, folks, listen, another thing that we're doing, since you're new to the room, all right, I want to bring up something for you. Sean helped me to create something that's on this card here, ice10k.com, ice10k.com. And what we've learned is that when you help people get where they want to go, you get where you want to go. Here's what I'm asking you to do. Right now, some of you love this information, and some of you have been sharing the information. You've been sharing the pill method with others. You've been saying, go to Don's website, go to the YouTube channel, watch the videos. But we've added something to the card. All right. And if you go to my link right now, that's pinned to the top, ice10k.com. When you go there, all right, you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see something that says referrals are the best compliments to give. I love that. When you share this information, all right, I'm going to give you something easy to do. Okay. It's easy to do. It's easy not to do. Here's something that's easy to do. You may be talking to somebody over the holidays or whenever, and they're talking about their mortgage. They're talking about their refinance. They're talking about their student loans. They're talking about their debt. And you may mention, did you know there's a better way to handle that debt, that people can be completely out of debt in 5 to 7 years? Okay. 7 to 9 years, student loans gone. And then they said, really, I'd like to know more about that. Then send them to my YouTube channel, okay, the Pill Method YouTube channel, and then follow up with them in 2 days. Send them to the YouTube channel, follow up with them in 2 days, and then ask them, do you resonate with any of this information? If they say yes, it says, listen, I'm going to have the guy give you a call. Then what you'll do is you take that referral button, all right, you fill it out, and then put your name in as the referral partner. When that person becomes a client, because we're going to take over from there. When that person becomes a client, guess what? I'm going to send you $300. And if you become prolific, if you get good at it, I'm going to show you how to grow that $300 per client to $1,000 per client. Okay? All righty. That's what's happening. All right? So, anybody excited about that information? Sean, thank you very much for helping us to set up. What do you have to say about that, Sean?
First of all, Don, that's a brilliant idea, number one. Number two, when you find ways to put money into the pocket of your community members and the people that's supporting you, nothing can stop you. Because your goal is not to go there alone, your goal is to take others with you. And that's exactly I see what you're doing here. So shout out to you. I'm so happy with that conversation plan that you have in place, and keep pushing. I definitely support it.
All right, folks. So let's continue. So if you come in late, then what you want to do is take a look at, make sure you get the replay. But we're talking about just some of the things people are doing that make it impossible for them to pay off their mortgage in their lifetime. 90% of the people you know will never pay off a mortgage ever. They will die with it. Okay, so here's the other thing that we're talking about here that keeps people in debt forever: faulty financial education. Faulty financial education. The things that you're learning. All right. So here are some things that you never want to do. Okay. In financial education, we're taught when you're getting a mortgage, try to put the largest down payment you can on the loan. Don't ever put a large down payment on the loan. I've got videos on that. Okay. Faulty financial education. All right. Faulty financial education. Now, even the example I have on the screen, even if you want to put let's say you have a down payment of, let me show you, put this on the screen. You've got a down payment of $20,000 you want to put on your mortgage. All right. I would say don't do it. Don't do a down payment of $20,000. Okay. Listen, and I'm talking about over and above what you are required to pay down. I would say don't put the $20,000 down. So, Don, what you're saying is if I don't put the $20,000 down, I could have a $180,000 mortgage for 30 years instead of a $200,000 mortgage. My payment would be smaller, and I would have, I wouldn't owe as much interest. That would be true. Or you can get the $200,000 mortgage and prepay the $20,000. Okay? Prepay it. After the mortgage closes, and it takes you all the way down to line 84 on your mortgage schedule immediately in the first month. So, do you want to put it as a down payment and start at payment number 1? Or do you want to use it as a prepayment, the same amount of money? Prepay it with your first mortgage payment and go all the way to line 84 and save yourself 80 grand in interest by doing that. See, if you look over to the right, it's still a $180,000 mortgage, but you start on line 85 instead of line 1. Which is better? Okay. So listen, keep sharing the room. If you guys like that, would you like to see another example of that? A real life example that I just, I helped a client that lived right next door to me. If you'd like to see that, we call that down payment deception. So you want to know why people stay in debt forever? Because of faulty financial education. Here is another example of that. Down payment deception. Oh my goodness. Down payment deception. So here's what we're talking about. I had a guy come in, all right? And if there are anybody, if you have any questions or comments, raise your hand. I got FK wants to come up and
I have a quick comment if I can.
all right.
This is Jay.
Okay, Jay, go right ahead, man. Talk to me.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank you for this space. Good morning to everyone. I hope everyone is well. I just want to say you are dropping super gems because most of us don't know that controlling the principal payment, if we control the principal payment, we control the loan, And, you know, if interest rates drop, the principal payment goes up. So I just want to thank you for that, for these, gems that you're dropping on us because it's not easy for us to get this access of information, to access this information. So thank you so much. And you are so right. The bank's job is to loan as much as they can for as long as they can. So I just want to quickly thank you for all that, before I leave the room. I appreciate it.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome. So listen, we have Fox in here. Fox, talk to us. Fox Kelly, you have a question or a comment? Click that microphone in the lower right hand corner. Unmute. All right. I can barely hear you. Talk a little louder. Are you on the heads? Barely. Are you on a Bluetooth? Can you take it off? Okay.
Everyone,
There you go.
Grand Rising. Can you hear me now?
Gotcha. What's your question, man? Hello? We got you.
What is going on here? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Okay, I couldn't hear no word. Yeah, I'm new to this and very informative information I see you're giving out. Um, can you do this also with vehicle loans or anything basically with interest?
Anything that carries interest.
Okay, great. That was my question, and I'll be going to get your book.
All
Thank
right,
you
sir.
very much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very. Watch the whole video though. Okay, watch the whole video. There's a bunch of this that you mentioned that you mentioned. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Appreciate that, though.
All righty. All righty. All righty. All right. I just got a message from Sean. I got it. All right. So thank you, Mr. Kelly. Thank you so very much. All right, folks. Here's a local businessman, $400,000 mortgage. Okay, $400,000 mortgage, and he asked if he should put $100,000 down so he could finance a $300,000 mortgage. Okay, we're talking about faulty financial information. Faulty financial information. So I told him, no, you want the $400,000 mortgage for 30 years, not the $300,000. When you do the comparison here, and if you want to see this, you want to go to YouTube, find P.I.L.L method, and look and watch what we're talking about. 400,000 versus 300,000. On the left side is the 400,000. On the right side is the 300,000, and we're comparing the payments. With the 300,000, the payment is smaller. With the 300,000, the total interest paid will be smaller. All right, and everything works out. If you, for most people, they will say put the $100,000 down. I'm saying don't put it down. When you look at this, the bank makes the same ROI, 51.777%, the same thing. So here's what's going on. Here's how much interest the guy was trying to save. All right. When you take a look at the interest cost of the $400,000 loan versus the interest cost on the $300,000 loan, the guy says, I'll save $51,779. But you got to keep that loan for 30 years to realize that savings. Okay. You got to keep it for 30 years to realize that. What I was saying is that get the $400,000 loan, make your first payment. Now, where's this $100,000? He still has it in the bank. And if he really wanted to put that towards the mortgage, could he now do this? Apply the $100,000 to principal. Do you realize by doing that, in month one, it takes him all the way down to line 125 on the amortization schedule in 1 month? Wow. Saving $110,000 in interest right now? What just happened here? So what we've been told is to put it as a down payment, folks. We've been told to put it as a down payment when we should never put a large down payment on. We should save that money back to make a prepayment on loans. The information that we're getting is faulty. That's what keeps us in debt forever. Okay, faulty financial information. So what just happened is that we just saved $110,000 in interest. And it eliminates 10 years off the mortgage immediately. Instead of putting it as a down payment, use it as a prepayment. Knock off 10 years, 3 months immediately. Now he only has 19 years, 9 months left. And guess what? Guess what he did next? Signed up for the P.I.L.L method. Okay? And now he paid off all of his debt, including the mortgage, in just 7 years. And when the bank wanted all of that interest, he's only going to pay 30 grand on everything. That's it. Only pay 30 grand in interest without upsetting his budget. And because of that, I'm his new best friend. Okay? So, folks, here's what I need you to know. Focus on this for a hot minute. Do you want to continue to make the bank rich by not understanding this process? Okay? Because here's what we call it. Here's what we call it: financial violence. When we don't understand what's happening, we call it financial violence. That is the definition of how lending is practiced today. That's why most people will never pay off their loans in their lifetime. That's why 9 out of 10 people you know will never pay off a mortgage. So let's stop practicing financial violence. I need your help to help get this information out there. So go to my link up above. Go to my link up above. And here's a couple of things you could do. We talked about earlier how you can become a referral partner. Not only can you be a referral partner by referring other people, you can refer yourself. I'll still give you the referral bonus on your own program. Oh, you can't beat that with a stick. Come on. I will listen. So go to ice10k.com. All right. Go to ice10k.com. And then once you go to ice10k.com, then you'll see the button that talks about referrals. All right. Yes, that's the best compliment you can give as a referral. Click that button, and then you can refer yourself, and then we'll tell you what to do. Or you can and go to the another button that says get a savings and earnings report and fill that out. Fill out the savings and earnings report and send in the referral with your own name. I will give you the referral bonus as well when you sign up for your own program. Folks, listen, we've got some other good information here. Do I have any questions or comments in the audience? Let me look here, and I see, let's see. Jay says, go ahead and click that greenhouse at the top, folks. Follow the P.I.L.L Method Club. Be a member of this club. Get this kind of information where not only can you give out good information and get good information, we're going to pay you for sharing it. Pay you for sharing it. Yeah. Share it. Get paid. All right. Send them to what can be easier? What can be easier than sending somebody to a YouTube channel and then following up with them 2 days later, find out what their interest is, and if they resonate with the information, fill out the card and send it in. There you go. All right. So let me see what else. What else we've got here? Listen, I've got some. Let me pull up our notes here again, and let me see what else I've got before we have to run, folks. We've got. Man, the 2 hours is almost gone. All right. How can the P.I.L.L? Let's go over how can the P.I.L.L method help? Okay. All right. Listen to this. The cost saving tricks that the bank is offering is going to end up costing you money. Don't fall for it. Get with an expert that can help you. And here is one last thing I'm going to share with you before we start to wind it down. Folks, do not take your equity out to pay off consumer debt. Use your equity to conserve, not to consume. Don't take your equity out, refinance to pay off high interest debt. I'm going to show you an example of this, and then we're going to go ahead and shut it down. I'm going to turn this off. We're going to bring up our amortization schedule on the screen. Okay. We're going to put that on. And I'm going to give you an example of a $350,000 mortgage that they refinanced. And they refinanced it to 5% because they bought down the rate, 360 payments. All right. Here's the payment on that. It's $1,878.88. Now, $50,000 of that is other debt that they used their equity to pay it off. Now, they've got it down to 5% here. And some of that debt was as high as 15, 20, 27% that they used their equity to pay that off. That's what they did. Now, I need you to take a look. Hey, Coffee, how are you doing? I see you in there.
I am amazing, young man. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. Listen, we're coming down to the end of this thing, and I am so happy to help people to see how they can not only help themselves, but help their friends and neighbors and family not to fall victim to financial violence and end up going to their graves in debt. 9 out of 10 people Coffee, will never pay off a mortgage. So, if you don't believe
That won't
me,
be my testimony. That
well,
won't be my testimony, though. Praise God. Amen.
come on now, come on. So now here's just to sum things up. Here's one more thing. Listen, I got so much here, folks. I got so much to share. But here's one other thing that we've been taught to do that we should not do. $350,000. All right, mortgage. 50,000 of that is cash we took out to pay off other debt. And now we've got the relief. That debt is gone. Those payments are gone. Those high interest rates are gone. But let me show you what happens when we go to pay off that $50,000. We just add it to the. Oh, somebody said, Kanabi says straight robbery that was agreed to by the victims. That's right. Shaking her head, shaking my head. And Nabi says, I have the book. Thank you so much for getting the book. Yes. Here's another thing that we agreed to, folks. Here's another thing we are. Karen Mills says it's robbery. All right. Jeremiah Sam says good morning. Monty Anderson watching us on YouTube says, hello. All right. I appreciate that. But watch this on the screen, folks. Watch this, what we have on the screen. We're going to pay back the $50,000, and here's how it's done. We're thinking that we have that high interest rate stuff in our mortgage at 5%. I need you to take a look at cumulative principal and cumulative interest. Now we're going to pay back the first 50 grand. In the first year, we just paid $5,000 of the $50,000 we rolled into the mortgage. And you just paid $17,382.72 on $5,000 worth of debt that you rolled into the mortgage. If you knew that you didn't have a single loan out there that they were charging you paying back $5,000 in a year, and they're going to charge you $17,000 on it. You didn't have a single loan out there that outside the mortgage that was doing that to you, but you put it into the mortgage, and now $5,000 is doing that to you at a so-called 5%. $10,000 paid back in 2 years. You've already paid $34,000 in interest. Let's just scroll down. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off and take a look at. It takes 97 payments, folks, to pay off the $50,000 you rolled into the mortgage, and you just paid $132,000 in interest because somebody told you you were saving money by rolling that 50 grand, taking 50 grand out and paying off high interest debt. Somebody told you that was the best thing to do for you. Not even close. Let me ask you, if you take $50,000 and pay it back and pay $50,000 in interest, isn't that 100% interest? If you take $50,000 and pay another $50,000 on top of that, now you paid $100,000 in interest. Isn't that 200% interest? You add another $32,000 to that, folks. That's 232% interest on debt that your highest interest rate on outside the mortgage was 27%. So you're wondering why people are in debt forever. It is not because they are being irresponsible. It is because they're following the advice of financial gurus. And that is why we stay in debt forever and never pay it off. Coffee Brown, I'm getting ready to shut this thing down today. Do you have a word for the people this morning?
Now listen, I'm a minister, so I don't say a word, Don, because I be in here preaching. Let's not use that terminology because I felt the preacher stir up in me. But I was like, oh, let
Come
me
on.
pull out. Hold on a minute, Joshua. Hold on. Okay, but no, seriously, trust the process. Don has yielded his life for about 16, 17 years doing this, right, Don? Something like that.
That is correct.
And so trust the process. I know there's a lot of other entities out here that talk about similar strategies for creating wealth and legacy. But I'll be honest with you. When I look at those entities versus what Don is doing, his strategy makes more sense. Just think about sense wise, just use your sense, nothing else. The strategies that he is showing us makes a lot more sense. And secondly, those entities that you may be following currently while you're pursuing financial independence, they would never, ever share with you this type of information at no investment to you. I'm going to say that again. They would never, ever yield this type of information with no investment to you. So, respectfully, we need to honor the person who is giving to us something at no investment to be able to help us to free 1,000 generations that are coming behind us if the Lord tarry and the earth remains. So you think about that. He's doing something that is unprecedented. Nobody's ever done this, and nobody else ever will, period. So let's respectfully, while you're sitting in this room, don't just absorb this information. Not only be grateful, share the room, share the space every time you come in here. Follow Don, get on YouTube, go back over the information because he has it in real time so that you can get your family free. We're not in here to play games. It's time to free our families for 1,000 generations. And I'll say this and I'll yield my mic. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 11 says that God will bless us 1,000 times more than our ancestors. You think about that. And in this space, you can receive that blessing if you apply what you learn. Don, I'm going to yield back to you. I am Coach P. Coffee Brown here in the great state of Texas by way of Houston. And yielding my mic over to Don.
Come on, Coffee Brown. We appreciate you so very much. And folks, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about concepts that are ancient. We're talking about concepts that are as old as God himself, because he gave us the desire, the Bible says, to even get wealth. What are you going to do with it once you receive it? Okay? So here's what we're saying, folks. What you want to do now is go to ice10k.com. I need your help to get this information out. And as you get this information out, you can do two things with this new tab that we just added on. Okay, you can become a referral partner with the P.I.L.L method. All right, so send people to our YouTube channel. Send them to our YouTube channel. Follow up with them in 1 or 2 days. Follow up with them. See if they want more information, and then once you do that, then send in that information. Send it in to us, okay? Fill it out. Put your name in as the referral partner, okay? And then make sure that you're on our list, okay? Because put your name on the as a referral partner and use this information. Make sure you call in and make sure that you on our referral list, all right? And then once they become a client, I'll send you $300. Okay? Restrictions apply. So find out what those are. All right? I'll send you $300. If you want to become prolific, then have a private meeting with me and learn how to turn that $300 into $1,000 for every new client that comes in. Oh, now we're talking. So I want to use your help. Now, to get this whole thing started, How would you like to get a referral bonus for getting your own program to find out the month, day, and year you could be debt free? All right. Go to ice10k.com, click on the link, and get your own savings and earnings report. Find out the month, day, and year you can be debt free, and then get a referral bonus for doing it. I want to thank everyone for being here today. Thank 10K. Thank everybody for being on the stage. Thank you for coming in here. We're going to be right back here on Friday. We're going to give the last word to Dr. Eric Thomas, and I want you all to remember, get the book, get your savings and earnings report, and get your $300 referral bonus right here. We'll talk to you on Friday. Bye-bye.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.